so bad I feel it so whole. La 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 la.
I am. She has laryngitis. She could stand here, but nothing would come out. I like to say, even if I'm not good, we have someone new coming. You can fire me from this position.
Shabbat Shalom. Misty, how are we doing over there? We begin with a moment of silence.
Yeah, we're good, Rabbi.
Maybe we should just sing. The people virtually will join us when they join us. I'm ready if you're ready.
All right.
Hine ma tovu manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. 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 Hine ma tovu manayim, shevet achim gam yachad.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, Rabbi.
Okay, we're going to try this again. We welcome everyone virtually into our sacred space here at Congregation Micah. My name is Philip Rice. They call me Rabbi Flip. That is not Miss Lisa Silver, who has a small case of laryngitis. I know that happens to people. I know. She tells me she'll be ready to sing Sunday morning if you want to come back. In place of her, we have the Honorable Rabbi Lori Rice, who will be leading us through the services. And we're going a cappella tonight. So try to get into our groove. The most important thing we have to do is get this Shabbos started, and Paul and Paula are going to come forward and light our Shabbos candles. If you grabbed a book, we're on page 2. If not, you can follow the screens, or you can just listen.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Amen. Thank you. All right, we're going to keep warming up here tonight. It's a chilly night with the words of Lachado D.
Yada da da yada da da. Yada da yada da yada da yada da. Lechato di likrakala, panei Shabbat nekabela. 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 Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad, Hishmianu el hamyuchad, Adonai echad u'shemo echad, L'shemo tiferet v'litila. Lechadodi likrakala, panei Shabbat nekabela. Lechadodi likrakala, panei Shabbat nekabela. Lihikrat Shabbat lechuvanelcha, כי מקור הברכה מראש מקדם נסוכה סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה לך דודי לקרא כלה פני שבת נקבלה לך דודי לקרא כלה פני שבת נקבלה בואי ושלום העטרת בעלה גם בשמחה ובצהלה תוך אמונם סגולה בואי כלה לך דודי לקרא כלה פני שבת נקבלה לך דודי לקרא כלה פני שבת נקבלה.
We remain standing. We mark this holy moment with the words of Hatzi Kaddish.
Rabbi, may I say something before we start?
You
Hatzi Kaddish?
are
Okay.
also with the title Rabbi. You can talk, just know they're standing.
Okay. I think that we're going to, after all this time, going almost 2 years into a pandemic, have what I will call the Torah of COVID, or the Talmud of COVID, right? Things that we understood to be kind of Jewish norms, but have a new, even enhanced meaning after going through what we've all gone through the last couple of years. So I was thinking today about how, when we wear our masks, even if we try to smile at someone to be friendly, unless they can see it in our eyes, they can't really tell that we're smiling. And yet, when I stand up here leading prayer, I can't help but smile at all of you, but you probably don't know that I'm smiling. And I had this conversation in a physician's waiting room with someone this week, and it made me think about the very first Mishnah, the very first sort of legal mandate, if you will, in Brachot, in the tractate Brachot of the Talmud, which starts with, you shall greet everyone with a cheerful countenance. And I used to think that that was, so that we can be kind to one another and have good relations and what we would call shalom bayit, peace in the house, peace in our community. But I think we still need to smile even underneath the mask, because the greeting everyone with a cheerful countenance is also for us, right? It's a reminder, at least for me during this time, that we're all human, we're all doing the best we can, and even though we aren't hugging as much, and we're not shaking hands as much, and we can't see one another's smiles, we still need to connect as best we can. So
I got an idea.
Okay.
They're standing, so we'll just give them 2 minutes to maybe go say hello to each other. Can we do that?
with a cheerful countenance.
Yes. Go meet someone new. Go say hi to someone you haven't said hello to yet. What do you think they're doing at home? Okay, it's not oneg. It was meet someone new, say hi, build community. Someday we'll have food again, but I'm going to draw you back attention to the holy moment as we leave the week behind and we enter the Sabbath. We invite you to chant with us.
Yikara v'yitkada Shemei Rabba
Amen.
Be'alma divrach hirutei B'yamlich malchutei B'chayachon v'yom echon Uv'chayed echol Beit Yisrael B'gala uv'izman Kariv V'yimeru Amen Yehei Shmei Rabba Mevorach Le'olam u'lam me'almaya
Yitbarach.
Yibarak v'yishtabach v'yitpar v'yitroma minaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal Shemei dekudesha barihu Leila min kol birkata v'shirata Tushbechata v'nechemata Damiram be'alma v'imeru Amen. Ya da 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 da. Ya da 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 da. Ya da 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 da. Ya da 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 da. Ya da 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 da. Ya da 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 da. Ya da 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 da. Ya da 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 da. Baruch Hu et Adonai. Hamevorach Baruch Adonai Hamevorach Hamevorach Leolam Vaed.
We invite you to take your seats. I tried this before, it didn't work. So we're going to try again. I want you to think of someone that's actually not your favorite person. It doesn't have to be an enemy. It won't work with an enemy. But like someone who, you know, if they stubbed their toe or had a flat tire, it's not that it's going to bring you pleasure, but they're not your favorite person. And I point them out now because we have this belief in Judaism that we, in fact, are connected to all living things, which means we're connected also to these people that sometimes rub us the wrong way. And I want you to take that in for a few seconds, and in a few moments, Rabbi Laurie's going to lead us in the Shema, because now I want you to let it go, because there's also people you love, and there's people we're now just getting to know. And behind these masks, and behind all the masks of really of normalcy, behind even deep inside of us, there are souls, we believe. And our world is animated with them, and we are connected to all of them, to all living beings. And so we invite you to sing about that with us now.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad.
We continue chanting words of Torah, the words of the Ve'ahavta.
Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha bechol levavcha ubechol nafshecha ubechol meodecha ve'hayu ha'devarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha ve'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam Beshivtecha b'beitecha, uvlektecha b'derech, uvshokbecha uvkumecha, ukshartam leot al yadecha, v'hayu letotafot beineinecha, uchtavtam al mezuzot beitecha, uvisharecha, leman tizkeru, Va'asitem et kol mitzvotai, v'hitem kedoshim lelohechem. Ani Adonai Elohechem,
Asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim lihiyot lachem Elohim ani Adonai Elohechem.
So, Asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim. That's this idea that this power in the universe helped lead us out from the land of Egypt. And it's a great story. It's, in fact, the greatest story that was ever told. And we study that story every week on Saturday mornings. And not long ago, just in our readings, we came across this great aspect of the story where they hit the shores of a sea, and these Egyptians were coming down upon them, and it looked as if all hope was lost. But in the traditions of Congregation Micah, they started singing, and lo and behold, because of the singing, we believe, the sea split. So if you're not feeling hopeful, it's time to start feeling hopeful, and maybe if you sing along with us, yeah, maybe you will in fact end up in that special, magical place of deliverance.
Mi chamocha b'yalim Adonai, mi kamocha nehedar b'kodesh, nora tehilot osef eleh, nora tehilot osef eleh. Malechutecha ra'u vanecha, bokei hayam lifnei Moshe. Ze'elianu ve'amru, ze'elianu ve'ameru. Adonai yimloch le'olam vayed. Adonai yimloch le'olam vayed. Yai dai dai da dai da 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 dai. Yai dai da 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 dai. Ya dai da dai dai ya dai da da dai. Ya da dai dai ya da 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 dai.
All right, you want to feel a little hope, a little hopeful? Sid Rappaport turned 92 last Sunday. He's not here, and I'm not sure he's watching, but that's impressive. Helen German turns 87 today. She's a regular.
Birthday.
She's probably watching.
Yes.
We start there because we love to go a little rogue during the service and think about those things in this community or things that are happening in your life that may be happening in other communities that bring us a sense of joy and hope so that we can share them and feel more hopeful together. So we're always looking for people who are, brief and brave and articulate to just give us a line or two about why they're feeling hopeful, or if in fact you are celebrating something in your life currently. What do you got, Avery? I'm bringing.
Okay, my grandson, who's 4 years old, got his first tzitzit. Yes, and he wore them to preschool.
And her grandson happens to have the same name as our son, so we like him very much.
Yes, outstanding. Part of the Jewish journey beginning.
It's very exciting.
Children make me feel very hopeful. What else? Something? What do you got?
I'm celebrating the fact that I woke up this morning.
Yes, Paul, I love that.
Okay, yeah. Also, Vandy won last Saturday night, and I bet they win tomorrow night too. Okay,
Paula,
yeah.
did you say it was your anniversary? A couple weeks ago. Ah, happy anniversary.
Anniversaries count. Now we're building momentum. Somebody else? Something hopeful or happy happening in your life? Okay, what do we got?
Well, we just moved here, and about a month ago, and we came here because of our children. My daughter lives here with her beautiful family, so we are very hopeful for that. Where did you come from? From Tampa.
And you seem very nice. We're very glad that you came.
Through the mask. Yeah. Okay, that's good. We got new people. We got anniversaries. We have the fact that we're alive. We're on a Jewish journey. I'm feeling more hopeful already. Anything else we got?
We have some amazing guests from Moshe House. I know you're going to introduce them.
Yeah, they get more attention later.
Okay.
I think. Okay. All that being said, we also think sometimes of the not so hopeful things. And one of the things we're able to do in this sanctuary, in this sacred space, is to ask for protection. And it's certainly something we need, all kinds. So we're going to sing for that now.
I'm forgetting which one we picked, Rabbi.
Hashki Venu.
Oh, yeah. No, I like that one. All right, now you're all going to sing with me, right?
That was for you, Miss Lisa.
That was terrific.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom, l'shalom, v'hamidenu shomrenu l'chaim. Fros aleinu sukat shlomecha, Fros aleinu sukat shlomecha. Amen. That's not the right one that you picked. We're going to sing it again. Ashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom, l'shalom, v'hamidenu shomrenu l'chaim. Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha, Fros aleinu sukat shlomecha. Amen.
Let's take them to tefillah. We're going to rise together for tefillah, our central prayer.
Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi agi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzhak, ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, ve'Elohei Leah. Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, Ve'konei Hakol, Ve'zocher Chasdei Avot V'imahot, U'mevi Gila Livnei V'nehem, Leman Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer U'Moshia U'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Abraham Vezrat Sarah, Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechayeh HaKol Atarav Lehoshia, Mechalkel Chayim Bechesed, Mechayeh HaKol Berachamim Rabim, Somech Noflim Verofeh Cholim, Umatir Asurim, Umakayem Emunato, Lishanei afar, mi chamocha bal gevurot, umidom melach, melech memit umechayeh, umatzmiach Yeshua, v'ne'eman atah lahachayot hakol, baruch atah Adonai, mechayeh hakol, atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, Ukadoshim b'chol yom yehallelu Selah. Baruch atah Adonai ha'el hakadosh.
We offer, as always, a little bit of silence for your own avodah shebalev, the prayers of your own heart. And when you're done, you may be seated.
Say shalom bimromav, uyase shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael Ve'imeru. Amen. Oh, say shalom bimromav, say shalom, aleinu ve'akol Yisrael, ve'imeru, amen. Oh, say shalom bimromav, say shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imeru, amen. Oh, say shalom bimromav, say shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imeru, amen.
Thank you, Rabbi Lori. It is always sort of here in the process of our liturgy, in the singing and the storytelling and the conveying of our hearts, that we pause to think about those people who do not have that sense of shalom, of which Rabbi Lori just sang. We mentioned specifically Julie Haynes, Gina Gulyami, Alan Sherman, Judith Mandel, Gail Hooper, T.J. Cohen. If there are other names, people you may know of in this or other communities that are in need of a blessing for healing, we certainly invite you to say their names aloud. We take those names into our hearts and prayers, as well as all people in need of a prayer for healing, and we invite you to sing with us.
For the hurt of body and of soul, for our suffering and pain, as you healed the ones who came before, won't you heal us just the same? Refuat hanefesh ve'haguf, el na rifana. Rifainu Adonai, Rifuat Shalema. Rifuat hanefesh ve'haguf, el na rifana. Rifainu Adonai, Rifuat Shalema. For the hurt of body and of soul, for the suffering and pain, as you healed the ones who came before, won't you heal us just the same?
All right, Misty, I'm going to start when you tell me to start.
It started really simply with a Shabbat dinner. I had 4 friends. 3 of them were working, 1 was in grad school, and none of us were doing anything Jewishly. So we said, let's do a Shabbat dinner. And all of a sudden, just by text and email, 73 people showed up, and we realized we might be onto something. From there it spread. There are now over 100 Moshe houses in 26 countries, and we're engaging more than 60,000 young adults each year.
There's a huge demand for a breeding place for friendships and new bonds.
Everyone is welcome to be here, no matter your Jewish background, no matter your current Jewish involvement.
It's for everyone.
The core of what we do are Moshe houses. They're homes that young adults rent after college.
The post-college, pre-marriage demographic.
22 to 32-year-olds.
And there's 3 to 5 residents in every house. And they turn their homes into community centers. And now we have a bunch of new programs, Moshe House Without Walls, learning retreats, Jewish summer camp for adults, That's just to name a few.
Moishe House seems to play a particularly important role keeping our Jewish identity strong at a very vulnerable age.
Filling that gap, creating a space for young adults.
A community. Really, it's a community that can be really hard to find in your 20s.
I need to go meet people. This is where the Jews are, so let's go hang out.
And from then on, I felt like I had a family, friends, things to do on the weekend.
It's like a home away from home.
It's creating Jewish life that people want to be a part of because the people planning the programs are volunteering to be there and to lead them.
And being able to create it ourselves and to invite our friends and those people that we haven't even met yet to come and experience the thing that we think is so amazing.
That's the amazing part, is that people are so giving of their time and their energy and care so much about creating a space that not only they want to be a part of, but other people want to be a part of and come back to.
I think that the one thing that connects all of the Moishe houses across the world is this passion for grassroots, organic Jewish programming.
Rose, Becca, Shay, would you mind just coming forward for 1 minute so people on TV can see you?
They thought they were just coming for dinner. Yay.
Watch this, watch this. Okay. So we're going to learn a little bit more about Moishe House as we go along. We want to thank you in advance for lending your hearts and your programming to the Nashville Jewish community and creating a sacred space there over in East Nashville. And we look forward to partnering with you a great deal in the future. All right, and we're having dinner, so all right. Thank you very much. By the way, this was the mezuzah opening. If anyone can see, that's Rabbi Lori, and that's my daughter up there. Yeah. Okay, you don't have to clap for that. Go back down. You know,
I noticed our daughter looks very excited to be there in the second picture.
yeah. Moishe House is like Moses' house, right? And when most of us think about the beginning of Moses' life, like Moses' first house, the image that comes to mind is that of a tiny baby boy, like placed in a basket, set floating to his destiny in the river Nile. That is not the way the story starts. At least not as we read it in the book of Exodus. That's not how it actually begins. It starts with a very simple statement. So short, we usually skip over it. Usually hurry to the next part of the story. But the text says, Vayelech ish mi beit Levi, that a man went out from the house of Levi, Vayikach et bat Levi, and got married. I feel like I gotta go. Siman Tov, Mazel Tov, woo, we got married, right? And at first glance, this just appears to be a beautiful, ordinary description of a marriage of two people. It is so much more than that. We know from other biblical references that Moses' parents had been married for some time. They already had two children, Miriam and Aaron. So why does this puzzling verse sound as if the parents were like newlyweds? Amram and Yocheved, that was their names. And to understand what's going on here, I think it helps to look at the larger canvas of the life of the Israelites in ancient Egypt. The year, as near as we can tell, is 1200 before the Common Era. So think like Egyptian empire at its height, pyramids and sphinx, largely because of the visions of our patriarch, Joseph. The Israelites had come some, 300 years earlier during a great famine. But at the time that Moses' story begins, Joseph is already dead. And the Israelite population has increased dramatically. So much so that they are seen as a growing threat. A new pharaoh arises, probably Ramses II, who chooses not to remember Joseph's contributions. doesn't feel any debt that he might owe to Joseph's descendants, and instead, he enslaves the Israelites, our ancestors. Seems to have made little difference. Israelites continue to multiply. You could almost say we're flourishing. Then Pharaoh grows a little paranoid. He's maybe concerned about losing his power base. I don't know, redistricting. I don't know. His soothsayers and magicians continue to bring the disquieting news that according to the stars, a savior is to be born, who will free the slaves and cause havoc in Egypt. The Pharaoh trembles, and in fear he decides that if all newborn Israelite males are drowned, surely this savior would perish as well. Thus the edict, every son that is born you shall cast into the river. There is weeping, moaning, babies are drowned daily. Amram and Yocheved, these parents of two children, separate. They will not bring a new life into the world just to see it destroyed. It is easier to be apart than to risk something so terrible. Children always hate divorce. And Miriam, the eldest, a daughter, feels like she is the victim of her parents' desperate decision. She wants another sibling. Her intuition tells her that everything about this is wrong. She rages at her parents. Your decision is harsher than that of Pharaoh. Are you not killing your unborn child? Perhaps it would have been a girl. I would have had a baby sister and it could have survived. The Pharaoh may or may not put the newborn to death, but you have made certain it cannot live. Our whole narrative, the whole Passover holiday story and everything, rests on a petulant little girl shaming her parents into reuniting after 3 years. And this is where our story begins. Amram and Yocheved come together and decide to try it again. What are they about to do? An Israelite couple makes love and risks death for a child they might conceive. A son would be doomed for sure. A daughter might even be raped by Egyptian soldiers. Couples are often reluctant to bring new life into a world of pain and suffering. And this is exactly the point of Torah that I want to get across. Even in the midst of trouble, despair, danger, l'chaim, we Jews choose to be life-affirming. And the most life-affirming act of all is to bring new life into the world. Amram and Yocheved, in the beginning of the story, are fulfilling the very first commandment of the Torah, pru urvu, to be fruitful and multiply. Cognizant of the pain in life itself, the illness, the emotional suffering, the financial hardships, the betrayals, the difficulties of aging and separation and loss, and the fear, the threats of anti-Semitism, or the ongoing risks of this pandemic, this coronavirus, we Jews still choose to bring new life into the world. I'm certain of it because there's a wait list at our preschool. Giving birth is a declaration that love is stronger than death. For Amram and Yocheved, Moses' parents, the decision to have a child is not a simple one. Right? According to the Midrash, they remembered, on the one hand, God's promise to our matriarchs and patriarchs that the people of Israel would eventually settle and be safe in the promised land. On the other hand, they were faced with the very harsh reality of a genocidal edict. And I tell you this story tonight in order to ask, How difficult is your life right now? Does it comfort you to know that eventually things will settle down? What life-affirming acts might you take? And does anyone think I can get Rabbi Lori to have another baby with me?
Definitely not.
Few heroes of the Bible appeal so irresistibly to the Jewish popular imagination and are stamped with such a peculiar genius than that of Moses. We love him at Micah because he's so humble. Yet the context of his birth reveal a deep optimism in our people. And yet, like Yoda in the early Star Wars movies, right? He says, wait, there is another. Another hero whose birth is surrounded in mystery, a figure who brought intense enthusiasm to their prophecy. The dangers to which this hero or heroine was exposed, their undaunted courage and fiery zeal, would be sufficient to crown them as an angelic figure. Just the character to be seized upon in later centuries by legend and by parable, and to survive for ages in our national folklore. A gentle messenger who preaches a religion of love and hope and humanity with like the tenderness of a modern saint. He comforts in affliction, he warns of danger, he calls for repentance, he is quick to give counsel. Above all, this character promotes peace between people. Even acts as a referee in legal cases and really considers the protection of the afflicted a special duty. The rabbis trace a resemblance between Moses and Elijah. One ascended Mount Sinai, the other Mount Carmel. Both were prophets. In rabbinical legends, Elijah is a man of hope. Elijah's prominence is largely due to the character assigned by him as a forerunner of the Messianic era, the ultimate optimist. His reappearance on earth will include an arousal of the dead and a restoration of the temple in Jerusalem. Think we might be able to watch it on like live stream Facebook or YouTube? There'll be cameras. So popular became this belief that in the gospel narrative, Mark and elsewhere, we find that Jesus is mistaken for Elijah. And among us Jews, Elijah is not canonized. There's no saints like in the Jewish calendar. But among the Jewish mystics, Elijah's name is repeated with special emphasis on the exit of the Sabbath. At that time, he is supposed to be seated under the tree of life, like we are, and unerringly records in writing the merits of those who keep the Sabbath holy. So you got to be feeling pretty good right about now. Curious is the survival of the custom, we think, at the Passover Seder of having an extra goblet of wine for Elijah. Most rabbis like to explain this as proof and illustration of Hebrew hospitality. All Israelites, masters and servants, men, women, children, all alike, are commanded to be present at a Passover Seder because on that evening, all are free from the barriers of rank and class and circumstance. They're thrown aside. What's more natural than an extra cup of wine that can be provided for a traveler, a stranger, a guest who may by chance arrive on a festival eve? It is this custom, which is common among Jews today, where we gladly invite others to enjoy a Sabbath meal. But here's my favorite Elijah story, and here's where we're going to end. See those two jesters over there, said Elijah to a certain Rabbi Baruch, pointing unobserved to two figures in the crowd. They shall each have a place in the world to come. So Rabbi Baruch advanced quickly in their direction, and he conversed with them for a few moments, and he found that they were folks of a cheerful, hearty spirit who also strive to comfort the mourner and the sufferer. They try to banish pain through laughter. They were, in fact, comedians, and yet they were messengers of hope. So we here at Micah are messengers of hope. That's what we are, and we do it by bringing fresh life into the world. We do it by inviting strangers into our community, into our lives, and into our homes. And we do it by renewing our souls through Sabbath rest and music and community. And like the Moishe House folks of today, we do it based on principles founded like our prophet Micah, principles like justice and mercy and humility, and ultimately of hope. So we're going to sing for Elijah now.
Eliyahu Hanavi, Eliyahu Hatishbi, Eliyahu, Eliyahu, Eliyahu Hagiladi, Bimhera v'yamenu, Yavo Eleinu, Imashiach ben David, Imashiach ben David, Eliyahu Hanavi, Eliyahu Hatishbi, Eliyahu, Eliyahu, Eliyahu Hagiladi.
Don't mind putting the Averys on the spot because they love coming close to Torah. We're going to invite the community to please rise as we begin our concluding prayers with the words of Aleinu.
It's your role now.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, latet gedula liotzer bereshit, shelo asanu kegoye haratzot, velo samanu kamishpachot adama, shelo sam helkenu kahem, vegor aleinu kechol hamonam, vanachnu korim, Umishtakavim umodim, lifnei melech malchei hamlachim, hakadosh baruch hu, v'nemar v'haya Adonai, lemelech hakol haaretz, bayom hahu, yeh Adonai echad, u'shemo echad.
Here at the end of our service, we think about those people who still touch our lives through their spirits. We recall on the anniversaries of their deaths, Eric Shore, Professor Herbert Spiegel, June Brune, Esther Weiser, Craig Evan Bletcher, Francis Koch-Brosian, Lila Weinberg, Murray Lipp, Leah Sonnenfeld, Cynthia Marin, Dr. Peggy West, Esther Goldstein, Jean Grunman, Dr. Frank H. Feldman, Richard Heller, Irene Hoffman, is it Ada Kramer?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Abe Zimmerman, Samuel Rothschild, David Gellin, Tom Frank, Ruth A. Roberts, Abe Rabinovich, Irene K. Ragusin. Our community continues to mourn the recent passings of Lucille Foley, Sheldon Grossman, Stephen Cooper, and just today, Evelyn Richmond. If there's any names I've neglected to mention or ones you'd like to say aloud, please do so. And I invite you to join together with me in the words of our mourner's Kaddish, Kaddish Yatom. Yitgadal v'yitgadash Shemei Rabbah.
Amen.
Be'alma divra kirute ve'amlik malchute. B'chayachon uv'yomachon uv'chaye dechol Beit Yisrael. Ba'agala uv'izman kariv v'imru.
Amen.
Yehi Shmei Rabbah mebarach la'alam ulalmei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal Shemei d'kudisha brichu. Le'ela min kol birkata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechamata, damiran be'alma v'imru. Amen. Yehi shlomo rabba min shemaya, v'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Oseh shalom b'mramav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. We ask, as always, that the source of peace send peace to all people who are mourning and comfort to all people who may be bereaved. We say one final time together.
Amen.
I invite you to sit briefly so I can tell you a bunch of things that are written on this piece of paper. The first is that Schmooze and Views will continue February 10th at 10:30. Our conversations have been real spicy. We were talking about the Electoral College this past week and voter suppression. Book club this Monday night, February 7th at 7 p.m. The book is Bluebird by Sharon Cameron, and it is a live author talk. She will be joining us, and Julie Greenberg, I believe. Sports trivia has been moved to the second Tuesday of the month, beginning February 8th at 10:30 in the morning, and that takes place on Zoom. These links are all available on our website, as is more information. Mahjong, back in person, February 8th here at 12:30. That's a Tuesday. In-person midweek and religious school is happening, so we'll see folks on Sunday morning as well. Torah study takes place tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. with my face, and it's on Zoom, so no one wears masks. It's awesome. Women of the Wall. You want to say something about that?
So we are sponsoring, along with our friends at the Temple and the Federation, Anat Hoffman, who is the head of the Israeli Religious Action Center. She'll be joining us virtually. And then I will be co-moderating with my colleague, Rabbi Shena Mackler, a Q&A following her talk, and that is Sunday
No, it's a week from this Sunday. It's
right. I was
the 13th.
Sunday the 13th, and I believe that's at 11 in the morning, and
Yes.
it will again be virtual, and the link is on our website.
Yeah, she's a very smart lady, and the work she does, if you're interested about progressive Judaism in Israel, she's really on the front lines fighting our fights. So.
And I mean, interestingly, we were supposed to have her live and in person. I think it was March of 2020, and I don't need to tell you what happened. So we have her virtually next Sunday.
Each month we do a drive. This February we begin our children's book for Bookem Drive. So if you've got new or gently used books you want to bring them in, we would love to take them. And more information about all of these programs available on our website and on our socials. We're very hip, you know. Okay, let's end with a Kiddush. Can we do that? I purposely broke out the Eliyahu Hanavi cup. Yeah.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzav banu v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu zikaron lema'aseh v'reishit ki hu yom techila lamikra'e kodesh Zecher letziat mitzrayim Kivanu v'acharta Ve'otanu kidashta Mikol hamim V'shabbat kodshecha Be'ahava uvratzon hinchaltanu Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat.
Amen. L'chaim. I'm going to have you all rise as we sing a final song. Whatever you want.
Oh, say shalom bimromav, ya'aseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imeru amen. Oh, say shalom bimromav, ya'aseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imeru amen. Oh, say shalom bimromav, ya'aseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imeru amen. Oh, say shalom bimromav, ya'aseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imeru amen.
Thank you for joining us. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom, everyone.
die, 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 die.